You think, okay, Journey to Justice, Civil Rights, a bus tour, sponsored by an Evansville University in Indiana, and so I'm like, how good is this going to be? My name is Michael Schaus. I'm a teacher here in Evansville. I teach at Boston High School and at Early College. I would definitely encourage. I already texted a guy on the way back saying you've got to do this next year when it's offered. It was just so good, so well planned, so well thought out. It's just a message that still applies to us today.
The American school system, they whitewash the curriculum so much that our eyes are never opened up to what really happened and what's really happening and what we need to do to move forward. So it's really impacted me that way, so that I can, really know what's going on. And I'm glad I educated myself through this trip, and maybe I can educate other people with this trip from what I've learned instead of what we are learning back home.
Racism still exists in America. I remember in 2020, I was about 14, 15 years old. I remember seeing the BLM, I suppose, protests, and I remember seeing tear gas thrown at people. I remember seeing people were getting hurt. Racism never gone away. It's just evolved over time, and the way we perceived it has also changed.
Experience for me overall was very eye-opening because we talked about the civil rights movement in a few of the classes that I took last semester, and it's just a really different experience whenever you get to see the places that it happened firsthand and meet people that were involved in it as well. I think the mentor portion of this trip is really important because it just gives the younger high school students a opportunity to connect with someone that is not only very interested in it, but it also helps to motivate them to be interested in it too. You just really get close with them, and we've all kind of developed a friendship from it too.
It's much easier for them to connect to somebody that's closer to their age, somebody that is more likely to share their viewpoints, share their ideals, understand where they're coming from. And so to have mentors on the trip, especially around college or sort of college age, to sort of walk them through and guide them, I feel like is really important because they can share the more personal experiences with us. They can get to know us, they can treat us like friends, and we can treat them like friends. And so it's less of this sort of teacher to student relationship.
Journey to Justice was absolutely amazing. It was the most transformative and significant historical experience that I've had in my lifetime, which is an extremely profound statement considering I am a former history teacher. History is one of my passions and hobbies, but this opportunity to go and reflect and learn and be with students doing the same about how we see and experience time and places and people and communities was extremely significant.
I would certainly recommend this trip. It is just massively informative, and it really takes you through a personal journey. It takes you through a journey of the heart and mind, through all of the racial discrimination that has been so firmly rooted in America's backbone all these years. And it's powerful in many, many ways because it does not leave any stone unturned. At least in me personally, it inspires a desire for change because you see all of the atrocities, all of the evils that were committed against Black people throughout America's history, and you can't help but want to do better. As a tour guide said on this trip, if we do not know our history, we are doomed to repeat it.
I have wanted to be going to something in the medical field since I was in 7th grade, I think, so just kind of having another motivation and a completely different reason to go into that, I think is kind of what this trip has brought for me, because obviously I still want to go into nursing, but I also seeing all the things that we saw and learning as much as we did this week, it kind of helped me realize that I could do so much more through what I'm going to be doing.
People need to come here to just see the places that we saw and just experience it for themselves, because if you're not experiencing it by yourself or seeing it for yourself, you aren't going to understand it. It was breathtaking. It was a sense of reality, and it was honestly very scary to think about that somebody went through that. And it's like, unless you're doing it, you don't understand what they're going through.